No,
So
no, all fine.
thank you, Gemma, for joining me. We've got quite a few people come on, very patient people who I think saw me go off and come on again. And maybe just tell us who you are and what your kind of family situation is, who you've got.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thanks, guys. Yeah, no, appreciate your patience with kind of those issues. So, I gave a little intro before.
Oh,
So I'm Gemma. I'm actually a sleep coach for kind of like with parents antenatally to 4 years old, and we've got two young boys, a 4 year old and a 2 year old, and we came to Camilla kind of recommended through a friend actually because we were really struggling with our eldest behavior predominantly, and we just didn't really know kind of how to tackle it and how to kind of deal with it really. Obviously from the sleep side I know exactly what I'm doing, but in terms of kind of like
yeah.
the toddler, with the rest of the toddler behavior, it was hard. So yeah, no, our eldest was very frustrated and quite angry, and my husband and I just were at a bit of a loss about how to kind of, cope with it and how to move forward and have, a bit more like happy family dynamics rather than, a lot of no's or a lot of everything you ask them, um, they just won't do basically. So obviously, yeah, we found you and then,
We took,
started chatting to you and yeah.
we took it from there. And tell me, because I'd love to know if you can kind of almost like summon up that feeling. Like, I think a lot of parents feel very alone. They feel there's a lot of sort of shoulds. It shouldn't be this way. I should be better. I should be more patient, or they should be better, and they will often delay reaching out because they kind of think, you know, oh, perhaps this is just a phase. Perhaps perhaps I just be better wait, or it's a bit embarrassing. I'm trying to get help. I don't know. What was the feeling there for you?
I think as you say, it is a kind of, you have a better, weekend and you're like, oh,
Yes.
everything's kind of changed, like, it'll be fine. And then, the week goes on or whatever, and then you have another tricky few times after nursery, or you go to a party and it's very hard again, or
Mm.
some of the practical things that I kind of will go into that we learned through you. And then
Yes.
I think it just kind of came to a point that and for me, to be completely honest with you, like ever since I've become a mum, like honesty is number one for me. I don't think
Yeah.
there's any, and that kind of translates through to my sleep
Your work.
world and my sleep.
Yes.
Yeah, totally. And I speak to parents obviously, and their friends are children are sleeping loads,
Yes.
and they're like, "What am I doing wrong?"
Yes.
And like, it can translate to behavior as well. And if we don't talk about it enough, everyone just
Yes.
thinks, "Oh my God, everyone else's child is just an
Yes.
angel." And
Yeah.
I have a nightmare child. Like,
Yeah.
what have we done wrong? Or
Yeah.
and then you can start to go on like the self blame, like, yeah, what have we done wrong, or what
Yes.
should we have
Yeah.
done, and
Yes.
there's
Yes.
no
And it did
manual.
cause, did you find it caused friction between you a bit as well? Like, if one was you kind of say, well, you shouldn't have told them to do that, or you should have done this. I don't know if you ever had that.
Yeah, we did a little bit. I mean, on the whole, like, we're quite
Yeah.
fortunate that my husband and I parent in quite the same way. Like, we've got quite the same views, and we were brought up quite, well, I wouldn't say similarly, but we can see like the positives and the negatives maybe from our backgrounds.
Yes.
So yeah, a little bit obviously, and just when you're tired
Yeah.
and everyone's a bit stressed and angry, it's only natural obviously to kind of feel a bit, you know, like you're clashing,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but it was more like we felt really clashing just like with our eldest, and we
Yes.
just kind of felt like it was quite a hostile
Yeah.
environment.
Yeah.
And neither of us are, we're both very like loving, yeah, as I said, honest,
Yes.
empathetic people, and we were kind of like, this doesn't have to be how it is.
Yes.
um yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And what were because I know also you found that they were quite a lot daddy, and
Yes.
you felt like you weren't, like, what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
Do you want to just describe that a little bit?
Yeah, so absolutely. So kind of a big part of it as well, it was the fact that my boys were kind of very, wanted daddy to do stuff, and I struggled to, whether it be to get them dressed or, to get them in the car. And they would play up a lot more for me than from them, my husband. And I think, and like, it's really hard because like in society generally, as a huge
Yes.
stereotypical, more dads are working, so more mums are kind of with their children more and kind of
Yes.
become the primary caregiver and so on and so forth. And with my husband and my relationship, we're both very 50, it's totally 50-50.
Mm.
So my
Mm.
husband is around the kids and stuff just as much as I am and what we're doing, and I think it knocks on your
Yeah.
confidence. So I think something that really helped working with you was to then build my confidence,
Yes.
because like kids are like sponges, so they
Yeah.
can sense if you're feeling a little bit
Yes. Yes.
unsure, or they
Yeah.
need to know where they stand and
Yeah.
boundaries and
Yeah.
kind of all of that stuff, which I was starting to struggle with a little bit, I think,
Yeah.
because of the rejection,
Yes.
and that's
Yes. Yeah.
actually what that's what they need. And kind of like working with you
Yeah.
had built my confidence
Yes.
again to
Yes. Yeah.
put that in
Yeah.
place, and then they know a bit more. Oh, I know where I stand with mummy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then that kind of helped. And I think I speak to a lot of friends, and it's kind of similar as well, just in terms of mums are often kind of the more sensible. We're thinking
Yes.
about what clothes they've got.
Yes.
Have they got in their nursery bag?
Have
Are
you
they do?
signed
Are
them up
they
for football? And yeah.
exactly exactly? Whereas the dads are just like in there, like
Fun.
rough and tumble, doing
Yes.
this, doing that, and
Yes.
it is really fun.
Yeah.
And so I think also to kind of just bring back a bit of my personality
Yeah.
into the parenting as
Yeah.
well, like has really helped. And I don't know, I mean, obviously, I've got two boys. I don't know what it's like to have a girl or whatever, but
Mm.
especially with the boys, they're really physical. They
Yes.
really like all that rough and tumble play and everything. And some, to a certain extent, sometimes I say with like my sleep work, like obviously, we're exhausted and actually you might not
Yeah.
want to do that, but
Yeah.
just give it 10 minutes and
Yeah.
it makes such a difference.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. No, it's so true. It's so true. And that confidence thing, I remember saying to you, because you said, they'll often scream like, go away, I want daddy. And I said, look, just like act as if, kind of just walk into the room. Hi guys, I'm here, with that sort of, even if you sort of fake it till you make
Yeah.
it. I think that I mean, one of the guarantees that I have with my course, the Parent Survival Academy, is that you become a calmer and more confident parent.
Yeah.
And, I just think that that's so helpful. I mean, I think so many parents, it's that you just start there's that sense of stress ramps up.
Yeah.
And I think particularly as mums, there's that kind of, they call it the mother load. We hold so much information in our head.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. We tend to be the more kind of sensible. So we're thinking ahead a lot more. So we're thinking, right, well, if they don't have their lunch now, I can't really play, because if they don't get their lunch now and they need to get some protein and they need to get some carbohydrate and they've got to get the vegetables, so I better peel some carrots.
Totally.
And then, oh God, right, get the bag packed for tomorrow and sign them up for the football class and reply to the mums in the WhatsApp because they're going to the party. All these things that we've got in our head. And it can really be to the detriment of like having a bit of rough and tumble before lunch, even if lunch is going to be 10 minutes late. And that's where I think dads tend to be better about that sort of thing. I mean,
100%.
It's funny. There's many years ago, I went to, there was a book called Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great book, actually. And I went actually live to see him talk. It was amazing. And one of the things that he said is that, and he says it in the book too, but he said, there were two things. He said, men tend to relax they need to relax before they get their jobs done. And women
just need to
have to get their jobs done in order to relax.
Like I can't think of anything else until
I've cleaned up and I've wiped down and I've packed the bag and I've made the lunch and therefore the sort of time, the kind of relaxed fun time with the kids gets compromised. But the other thing he said is that women are all about preparation. And he said, he asked women in the audience, he said, what have you got in your handbag? And women were like, well, I've got some ibuprofen, I've got a plaster, I've got baby wipes, and there are all these things. And we love to help each other. Like, so a mum might say, oh God, my child's got oh, here you go, I've got a plaster. And he was like, men, what have you got? They're like, wallet, phone, not even necessarily these days, we don't even necessarily have a wallet anymore. Everything on your
Totally, exactly.
and there was no helping each other out, or it was just like, no, because I'm in kind of a bit more in the moment. So that's often also where a clash will come. But that, that idea that if you can, we're not going to change, but if we can just feel that bit more confident and a bit calmer and think, do you know what? Even if lunchtime is a bit late, I'm going to have a pillow fight or a bit of a cuddle, or I'm going to do something silly. And I'm often encouraging parents, just be a bit sillier, like pull a stupid face, use a funny voice, go into song, dance about a bit. And it's amazing. The other thing I talk about in the course is this idea of building on connection. And it's amazing when you feel more connected, they feel more connected with us, how much more cooperative they are.
100%. And do you know what, like, talk on that basis, and that's a lot what I kind of talk to my toddler sleep clients about. It's the connection, and people having bedtime battles, and I'm sure you work with your clients as well, and it's that connection, and have that fun time, give them some control, like give them, obviously we all give our children love, but just really emphasize it, and just have that one-on-one time, have some fun, like you're saying, have a pillow fight. And I think I always remember, like, one of our conversations, and because we're not strict, but we kind of do really like our boys to be very well behaved, but then they were like bouncing on the sofa, and we'd kind of get a bit het up by it. And I remember you kind of saying, like, well, does it actually matter? And we were like, well, no, actually, like if they go to grandma and grandpa's or whatever, and we actually had that yesterday. We went and they started doing it, and then we said, we don't do that here, do we? And they got off, and it was just, that was it. And at home, you know what? It doesn't matter. Like, they're having a bit of fun. We're not getting stressed out by it, as long as anyone isn't getting hurt. Like, actually, just sometimes just let go of the small things that actually don't matter, because it only stresses you out.
Yes, absolutely. And another thing I'll often advise is, like, let them choose clothes. Like, we can get really irate if they're not looking,
smart,
if they don't, like they've got sort of horrible clashes, or kind of they're in it's the t-shirt's a bit too small, or and I think we'll often think it's it's a bit of a reflection on us, like if they're seen when we're out and then looking all sort of nice and well presented, people are going to think we're bad parents. But just like, so kind of who cares? And the other, like, massive liberation for parents is, I'll say, don't fight about the coat. Like, let them be a bit cold. I mean, sometimes they don't even feel it. Like, they're running around, they just got so high energy. They just run hot. But, just take the coat. And if you're out and they're cold, put it on.
Put it on.
Yeah. I mean, just like, and it, for so many parents, it's like, oh my God, I haven't.
Because it's a battle to get that on before. I mean, I've even said, I mean, we did that exactly today. Like, it was sunny, so my boys were like, oh, it's hot outside. And I was like, well, it's not, but that's fine. We'll just go out. I just put the coat in the bag, and I just thought, you can work out. If you then say, oh, mummy, I'm cold, then I'll just put the coat on, rather than have a fight at the door about it. But there's just no, exactly. And the outfit thing, again, is just so relevant, because I was, quite like that. And I, kind of superficially, like, oh, I had nice clothes for the boys and whatever, we all do it. But then it's like today, my eldest Josh, he had like these like welly socks on that he really wanted, and he pulled them right up. And do you know what? I was like, you just go, like, you're happy, we're out, like, it's great. And actually, and the judgment thing, other parents who will know and they see it and you kind of like, they kind of smile at you because
Yes.
they're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, you've had the same kind of like, you know, they get it."
Yes.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's just to try and take everything a bit more lighter. Then sometimes it can
Yeah.
feel so heavy,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
doesn't obviously, like, don't get me wrong, it's not perfect all the
No,
time,
of course.
obviously, because like
Yeah.
nothing ever
Yeah.
is. But I think it's yeah, it's definitely a lot lighter, and yeah, we can laugh about things a bit more than kind of we had done before.
It's really lovely. I mean, it's just, you know, what I'm often and telling parents is that the foundation, I don't work with parents of teens because I want to help people while they're still under 10. That's kind
Yeah,
of my niche. And there, when we get this foundation right, I mean, like, not perfect. When I
yes,
say right, you know, when we feel confident, when we feel skilled, when we've got a tool, like a situation pops up,
yeah,
and it might be something quite painful, like they didn't get invited to a party, or they're, you know, they're really upset because they weren't picked to star of the week, or they
yeah,
weren't, you know, picked to play in a football team or
yeah,
something like that. You know, there are so many situations like that will pop up, and when we've got this brilliant foundation, well, I call it brilliant because I just think, you know, it's just like, oh wow, I know what to do here.
exactly.
I feel confident, I feel skilled, I can really help my child. And as I say, you know, always say it's just really not about being perfect, but it is, this takes you
Mm,
through. And you know, when our kids do hit those teenage years, we've got that really strong connection.
yeah,
We're also an authority, you know, because
yes,
I'm very big on, and I know you were like
yeah,
that too, and sometimes we can get a bit too much, too strict,
yeah,
but you know, we have their respect.
hmm,
And
absolutely.
then they'll ask us for advice, or we can kind of say if they've stepped out of line, we can kind of, without making a big drama, kind of go, you know, my as teens, they kind of go, I need a lift, and I go, oh, interesting way of asking.
Yes,
And
exactly.
then they go, oh, sorry, can I have a lift, please?
Can I have a lift,
You know,
please?
yeah, and
But
it's
but
just,
it's yeah, no, it's definitely, and we really found that kind of empathetic,
yes,
like, just as you say, like, I want my boys to be able to come to me, and I don't want them to ever
yes,
feel like, oh, I've done something wrong, I can't tell mummy or daddy, you know, like,
yes,
we will always, it's the empathy and the understanding, but also exactly kind of holding the boundaries at the same
yeah,
time. Like, we will give them space
yes,
to have those feelings, to, you know, if they messed up or whatever it
yes,
might be. And as they get older, as you say, if they don't get picked for the football team, or if they don't
yes,
go to a party, you know, to have that, I understand that that's really disappointing, and
yeah,
you might be
yeah,
feeling angry, you might be
yeah,
feeling upset, you might be feeling
yeah,
all this stuff, and
yeah,
that is okay.
yeah,
um
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
but yeah, exactly. So that's, you know, that's like, again, what we've really learned, especially, yeah, with kind of toddler frustration and
yes,
anger. You
yes,
know, it's
yeah,
okay to be angry.
yeah,
Let's try and maybe do this next time when we're feeling
yes, yeah,
feeling like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. And so I haven't even mentioned it. I always mean to mention this as people join. So I have two free masterclasses this week, which are called Beyond the Battles, the 3 insider secrets to managing tantrums, rudeness, and kids who say no. So anybody that's watching, I'd love you to join. And it's a free masterclass and you'll get lots of value. And I also will invite you to join my course, the Parent Survival Academy. It comes as with group calls. I know, Gemma, you did individual calls
Yeah.
with me. And in fact, I was going to say to you, we can talk about you if you wanted to join those group calls as well. It might be fun. But it's just, I am so passionate, and I know you are with your sleep work too. You
Absolutely.
know, that's why we're so aligned. I'm just so passionate about helping parents feel calmer, have a happier home life, feel more confident. And the course is, I think it's like gold dust. I think it's just, you know, such a great investment. to learn, and the format, which I know you really enjoyed, is like you watch videos
Yeah.
and then you come together with my support and coaching. And so that's actually only open for a few days. So if anybody is watching this and wants to join, I actually don't even know if it's the link. The link in my bio is definitely to join the webinar, but I'm just thinking, there's so little things. I think the link to join the Parent Survival Academy is not up, but I'll put it up. But if anybody is interested and wants to send me a DM, I can send them the information. So, but I know it's your Sunday evening, and I don't want to keep you. I could talk forever.
Me too. Absolutely, exactly. And the link between the sleep world and all sorts, and the behavior, and everything that we've learned. But it's been great. And like if anyone's kind of struggling with their kids, or just feeling they need some other ways and tactics and ideas, or if you're just like lacking a bit of confidence, as a parent, which is totally natural, we've all kind of felt like that. Or if you're feeling really angry, or you've shouted a few more times than actually you really want to, and again, there's no shame in that. Like, it happens and we move on. But I would highly recommend it, because we've come a long way.
Well, it was an absolute pleasure coaching you guys, and I know that you had tears in some of the sessions, and we laughed, and it's just I always say it is the best and the hardest job you'll ever do. And no other job in the whole world would you do a really hard job without getting some training.
Absolutely.
Like, why do we think that we should just be able to just wing it? So anybody watching, do book on to my free masterclass. You would get a replay if you can't. I recommend you coming live, but you would get a replay if you can't. And also I will pop in the course, the Parent Survival Academy, because I'm taking a group through, and we have sessions together, and you'll learn tons. So Gemma, thank you so much for your time, and I'm sure I shall speak to you soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, Camilla. I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.